Ah, I've just been talking with the microphone muted. How long have I been talking with the microphone muted? Have I unmuted the microphone at all tonight? Probably. I don't know. What a nightmare. Hello, everyone. Yeah, so I, good evening, James. Good evening, well, good evening, everyone. I just realised my microphone was off. So someone, like, have I spoken to you at all tonight? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Last I heard, first I've heard, but was, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Right, I'll probably just start again from the top then. Wow, what a shame. I'm sorry, everyone. You've just been sat here for 10 minutes with me, kind of chatting to myself. I apologise for that. So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Picnic Table Chat Show. This is episode 7 of season 3, and tonight we're expecting a couple of different people on the show. We're going to have little short interviews with a couple of people tonight. It's going to be really fun, really good fun. Yeah, I know, I'm a nightmare. Sorry, everyone. Oh dear. If that happens, if I don't instantly start talking at like 9 o'clock, shout at me because I'm messing up. But yeah, whilst we're waiting for them to come on the show in just a few minutes, I was gonna let everyone. Well, I have already, but I'll tell you again. My scorpion. I've been really concerned about my scorpion lately over the past few months because I haven't seen much of them. I know you don't really see a lot of your scorpions, anyways. They're nocturnal. They're kind of skittish, But I would normally see traces of my scorpion. Over the past few months, there's been a roach walking around the tank and everything. Like my scorpion's not been out. I can tell you that. So today I plucked up the courage to actually have a look and know if he is alive or not. So I slowly lifted the log that I think he hides under because he buries under this log, whatever. Slowly lifted this log, and there he was, just curled up at the bottom of this log. Now my heart sank because he was curled up and very still. I was like, oh no, is he dead? Is this the worst case scenario sort of thing? Um, and then he just jumped into action. His pincer moved, his claws moved. You know what I mean? All his ligaments started moving a bit, and I was like, oh, awesome! So I put the log back down gently and watered his tank, put some more roaches in and whatnot, some fresh water in his bowl. And hopefully he's happy. But honestly, I don't know if he's on his way out. It is looking a little bit dodgy on his behalf. Is that the right word? Yeah, we're going to say dodgy. It's not looking great for him. But we'll see. I would be massively heartbroken if I lost my scorpion. I've grown really fond of him. I've never had a scorpion before, and I have grown very, very, very fond of my scorpion. Yeah, not happy to be woken up. That's about right. Hello, Mark, as well. Yeah, James, not happy to be woken up. But sometimes, you've got to look. It was what I really thought he was dead. Like I was expecting it the whole time I lifted that log. That's why I put it off for so long because I thought he was. I didn't want to look. But yeah, he's fine. Hopefully, he'll come out and eat and have a drink and everything's tickety boo and yeah, hopefully. So in the tank tonight, in front of you, bit of a massacre going on from the Polyrhacus dives. Like loads of them out tonight. I don't know how many, but the nest is an absolute boiling pot. Now I know it's fuzzy and you probably can't see much, but I'll try and zoom in anyways. But yeah, the nest was an absolute boiling pot. Mad trails coming down there, and then just crazy amounts of ants eating, and obviously roaches and isopods in there, trying to get in on the action as well. Um, at the start of the pre-show feeding, I actually showed off the bullet ant tank as well. I fed them 7 waxworms tonight. I would normally stop at about 5, but I went for 7 tonight, just because there was so many of them. Way more than I would usually expect to see. Probably most of the colony was out hunting these waxworms. It was really cool, really exciting. So if you didn't get to see that, have a little look back in the video tomorrow. You know what I mean? Have a little look tomorrow or whatever. And yeah, it was really, really cool. So yeah, that happened. I've been feeding all the colonies today. My Fedoli were really exciting as well. They came out, like, swarmed their waxworm for about 10 minutes, then all of a sudden disappeared. Every single one of them just disappeared. Might have been the fact I coughed. I don't know. But my Camponotus were like still out and eating, which is normally one of the first ones to go when I'm coughing, because they don't like loud noises at all. They're one of the few ants that actually communicate through making sounds. They will tap on wood and things like that, and it's like a Morse code, I suppose. But it's probably more through the vibrations. But you know what I mean. They pick up on it a lot more than some other ant species, I suppose. One other thing that I really could do with some community help with. Hello, Ants Heard. Thank you for joining, buddy. How dare you? Yeah, I'm sorry, Stacey. I've got an awful cough at the minute, right? And I also, right, so I've had this chest infection for what? I'm on my 5th week of antibiotics now. I've had this chest infection for a long, long time. I was quite unwell, as you know. It's actually spread into an ear infection as well now. So I can't even hear out of one ear. Everything's kind of muffled. It sounds like I'm underwater, but we're going to push through, and we'll see how tonight goes. If I can't hear the people I'm interviewing, we'll make it happen. Imagine they all start putting the masks on. Yeah. Right. So the other thing I was going to say about is I really need some community help with. I've got. No, it's fine, Stacey. Don't worry. I've got 4 empty shelves at the minute. 4 whole shelves. Now I really want to get a mantis. Thank you, Ant Warrior. That's very kind of you. It is getting much better. I'm on a lot of treatments, you know. Yeah, I really want to get a mantis. Now, my go-to place for mantis is going to be Mantis NI, obviously, because he's a friend of mine. But I don't know what I want. There's so many awesome species of mantis. There's the giant Asians. There's the pink orchids and all sorts of different things, you know. So I would like some like community suggestions. You know, just let me know what kind of ones you like. Are they easy? Are they difficult? You know, I'm open to suggestions on this, really. Ants Hood, were you ill the other day? Yeah, I think I remember we talked about it actually. Are you better now, though, Ants Hood? Ant Warrior says you like the orchids. See, I really like the orchids. They're very cute, aren't they? Very cute, very inquisitive. I don't know. I just can't make my mind up because I'm only going to get one. Would you rather have an orchid or would you rather have one of the giant Asians? Or is there something else that like is really cool and like underrated that people just don't pay attention to but should? I don't know. You know, there's so many different species. It's like ants, isn't it? But I'm only just starting with mantises, and I'm only going to get one. So almost makes still feel a little bit under. Oh, that sucks, Hood. Yeah, just make sure you're drinking lots of OJ, I suppose. Orange juice is like the way forward. I'm literally drinking like liters of it at the moment every day just to try and keep myself a little bit better. Excuse me again, I do apologize. So apart from my scorpion being alive and me wanting to get a mantis, that's about it. I haven't really done much lately. It's just been standard tickety boo along here. I've been spending lots of time outside, to be honest, and enjoying a bit of sunshine. Answered. You said you were going to get only one ant colony. Yeah, I think I said that many years ago, and then I was like, well, we're going to have to get another because it's not doing a lot. And then I ended up getting loads, as we know. But it's fine. It's fine. I think it's like anything, really. Once you get into it, like you want more, It's like when I was doing like all my gym stuff when I built my home gym. Like you just get so into I want the next cool thing, you know what I mean? And it becomes like a not a fad, but like a habit to buy the next awesome ant every month or whatever. You know, you want to. It's not just building that collection, is it? It's there's more to it. Or it's for me. I don't know. I love it. All Ants UK, brilliant. You're more than welcome to join any second. Yeah, Ant Warriors had to ban himself from buying any more. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And ants are like fashion clothing. As soon as one person gets them, yeah, we all want them. Yeah, I kind of get that. Yeah, an obsession, Stacey. It is very much an obsession, isn't it? I think that's the right word for it. An addiction. No, it's not an addiction. It's an obsession. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. Just watching those beetles running about on screen. They never stop, those beetles, but they're really cool. No, it's an addiction. See, I don't know. An addiction's normally a bad thing, isn't it? Ants are like your. Yeah, okay, I kind of understand that. Like, I gave up drinking and replaced it with ants, with a big gap in the middle. Or does something that is well received and everyone is doing it. Yeah, yeah, that is kind of it, isn't it, Stacey? One person does something that's awesome and everyone's doing it. Yeah, yeah, we know things like that. All Ants UK is here now, so I'm gonna welcome him into the screen. There you go, buddy. If you want to say hello, if you're there. So we can hear you at the minute.
Hello.
There you go. You all right?
Yep.
Brilliant, brilliant. Right, so we've got a few questions for you, as always.
Okay.
So when and why did you start ant keeping, just for anyone that doesn't know you?
A while ago, I think the first time I started actually getting interested in ants is must be a couple of years ago now. I was scrolling on YouTube and I saw Ants Canada's channel and just decided to check it out. And from then, it's just like I've just checked out more channels and stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah,
it kind of grows from. I think most people find Ants Canada first, and he kind of builds that. Um, well, what would we say? Would you say it's an addiction or a obsession?
um, it can become an addiction when like I guess at some points when like the species you really want and like sometimes you can buy like some people if they have the money they'll just buy so many colonies but I guess it's kind of both in some cases.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. It definitely can become an addiction, but I like to think of it more like an obsession because I've got it under control.
Yeah.
Whereas an addiction, I think, can be more of a out of control thing. I suppose it's how you view the word, but yeah, I think Ants
Yeah.
Canada kind of starts it for a lot of people, definitely.
Mm.
So, what ants do you currently have? I hear you've had some new ants lately. Do you want to tell us about those?
Yeah, lately I got a colony of Mesoclivorium
Oh
and
wow,
they're like these messes from Russia. They're quite rare actually. and they're actually quite nice.
Yeah. What are they like? Are they different from Metabarbarus in some ways?
Yeah, they are quite different to Mesobaurus. They're not. Mesobaurus are a lot bigger. There's a lot. They're kind of a smaller version of Mesobaurus, and they kind of have. Well, actually, I'd say they're more close to like Mesostructa, if you've heard of them.
Okay.
And they're like,
yeah, carry on.
and they kind of had like a red tint to them in certain lights, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, very nice. I do like ants like that. I like some of my Camponotus have like red, and some of them have all those different colours. They really,
Yeah.
I like that. So are they? They are still harvesters. They're everything's
Yeah.
normal in that regard. Yeah. Are they? Do they require special requirements?
I don't. Not really. I keep them at 25 degrees. I don't know if that's necessary, but I just do it anyway. Just like because it might increase the growth or something. But yeah.
Nice, nice. So fairly easy species to keep all around then.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's really cool. Have you got any others that you want to tell us about?
Well, I've had my Caribera Diversa Queen now that I got from the ant lady for it would have been about 2 weeks now. Actually,
Nice.
it won't be a bit more like 3 weeks. And I haven't checked on her for ages because I've been like trying to let her. But I'm probably gonna leave her for another 2 months just because I want to wait till like she gets her first workers
Yeah.
before I check on her.
Yeah,
'Cause-
yeah. I mean, once those first workers come, you don't have to feed them like instantly that day. You can, you can give it a week or so. So checking them less regularly is definitely better, especially with Canberra diversa. That's quite a really cool species, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the reason why I like especially not checking on her because I did check on her because she came with like a bit of brood, and I checked on her. Like I kind of checked on her like 2 times, and like after like the second time, she just ate all of her brood.
Yeah, they are known for that. I mean, they're quite a difficult species, anyways, especially from the founding stage. If you get it done, fair play to you, like really well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, very difficult species, but they are amazing. What always surprises me is how small they actually are. Like the workers are so small compared to the super majors.
Yeah, I can't wait till I get my first workers. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Do you know what sort of time scale, like until they get their super majors and whatnot? Are they second year sort of things, or?
I don't know really. I think they get. I mean, they're super majors. I would assume they come after quite a while. Yeah.
Yeah. I would assume they take up quite a lot of resources, so quite far down the line. But you might end up with some like smaller majors quite early on. They come, I think, 2 or 3 generations into it.
Yeah.
Which
That would be good.
Exciting.
Even just like the smaller majors, I've seen in Hood's video, his smaller majors. Even they actually go out more than like because I know some of the super majors normally when you get them they're like literally like food storages more than actually majors like Fedoli.
Yeah, they don't act like the rest of the colony, do they?
No, I think mainly the small workers do most of like the cutting up and that, and like the majors don't really do as much, I would say.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. Well, that's why they're called workers, isn't it? Because they do the general work.
True.
Yeah. Excuse me for coughing again. So have you got any other ants that you want to talk to us about?
Well, I've got my leaf cutters, which are very cool.
How are they doing?
They're doing quite good actually. For a while, I think like a couple of weeks after I got them, they weren't really growing much. They're kind of staying the same size.
Yeah.
But then I started feeding them because I was feeding them like more. I was feeding them dandelion leaves, and I switched to bramble and raspberry leaves, and they've started loving it, and they're growing a lot more now.
Okay. I've heard they quite like rose petals and things like that.
Yeah, I got a bag of rose petals. Well, I feed the rose petals like sometimes, but I mostly feed like the bramble more because what I found is a lot of the time with the rose petals, sometimes they'll just like put it in like their nest area and then just not use it.
Okay. I know Hood would probably say probably the same thing because I think he uses you. Hood, correct me if I'm wrong, please do. But you used the petals and didn't think much of them, if that was right, or you found that other things were more beneficial, much like you're saying.
Yeah.
Um, have you ever found it like difficult during the winter periods, or are you going to expect to find it difficult during winter periods to find enough leaves for them?
Well, last year because I got them just before winter last year, um, and they're actually like throughout winter. We've got a laurel bush like at the bottom of our garden,
Yeah.
and they actually like because they're like evergreen. They actually kind of like that. They take a bit of it, and then I just mixed in some of the rose petals too.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. See, I think I would probably resort to growing lots of stuff inside. I mean, I already do. Um,
Yeah,
just trying to up that. I'd probably have like a inside bramble bush or something.
yeah.
That'd be
I
cool.
I think at some point because I haven't tried privet yet, but I've seen a couple of people try privet and it's worked out quite good. So I might try privet at some point actually.
Yeah, privet's really good generally for most things. I mean, that's what I give my stick insects, privet, and a thornless blackberry bush that I grow.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I mean, they both grow really fast. Privet is so hardy, it grows most of the winter, but it kind of shuts down in the really cold winters. Um, but it's like the what I've got outside is absolutely flourishing again, all green and beautiful. And yeah, I can't wait to
yeah.
start cutting that down again.
Have you done? You know, with your stick insects, I
Yeah,
used to have stick insects ages ago, and I got them like as part of a kit. I got 10 of them, and like I kept them, but they literally like I couldn't find a leaf because I would literally buy a whole like ivy plant for them and just
yeah,
keep taking snips off, and I ended up using the whole plant before it could even grow leaves back.
yeah. I mean, that is the thing about stick insects. They eat, like, I had loads. They eat really fast.
Yeah,
So I've actually got, like I say, I've got four thornless blackberry bushes, I've got three privet bushes, and I collect stuff from other places as well.
yeah,
It can be a bit of a nightmare trying to keep up with them.
yeah.
Just going to say a massive welcome to Ant Antics, who's just joined. Yeah, so moving on, I've got another question for you, believe it or not.
Ooh.
What would your best piece of advice to a new ant keeper be?
Oh, that's a hard one.
It is. It's always a hard question, but it's one we like to ask because everyone has a different experience of ant keeping, and
Yeah.
we all have different wisdom to share. Kind of. I don't.
I feel like oh, probably some good advice is watch a lot of like because there's a lot of like on YouTube channels. There's a ton of like just get like involved a lot in the community, and you can find out a lot about ant keeping and like yeah, like
Yeah,
even just joining like a couple of Discord servers and like watching a couple of channels and stuff, and you'll find anything about like because there's a ton of people with a ton of different colonies. So like any colony that you get, there's guaranteed to be someone that has that colony,
yeah,
like maybe it's a full grown colony and could tell you more about them.
yeah. No, I agree. Being involved with the community, sharing those experiences between you, that's really important, I think. It just furthers your knowledge and makes everything more fun if you have people to share that with as well.
Yeah,
I mean, one of the main problems that I come across with everyone that I interview is actually finding other people in your local area that are into ant keeping is the biggest issue. So that, it's quite important that we maintain these strong links in our community.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, anyways.
I don't really know many people that are local, but like, I guess like I still talk in a ton of like serves and stuff. So I guess I still kind of learn everything, but like without being local, I guess.
Yeah, no, I completely get you. I mean, I was really lucky, right? A couple of weeks back, it must have been a couple of weeks back by now, someone messaged me and they were like, "Oh, we live just down the road and we keep ants." And I was like, "Oh my God, we have to meet up and like talk ant stuff." And it was, yeah, it's just awesome to actually know someone down the road. Yeah, it was brilliant.
It's like I actually got surprised at how many people like are into ant keeping because my dad was because like a while ago now it was my dad told me that one of his friends is into ant keeping too and he's got a ton of colonies.
Oh, well, there you go. So there is someone local to you, kind of.
Yeah. So
That's
yeah, I
good.
guess there is kind of someone local. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, like I've said it many times, I think most people at some point get the idea in their head of keeping ants, but they've never really, especially back like 10, 20 years ago, they never really had the capacity to do it or knew how to get into it.
Yeah.
So that spark of interest just disappears.
Yeah.
I think like the way the community, the way the hobby is going, and all these new nests and the technologies getting out there and it's getting more well known, I think it is gonna really help lots more people get into the hobby.
Yeah. I found like especially like you know how Rakushi released the new leaf cutter pods.
Yeah,
That's gonna help a ton of people get into like leaf cutter now and stuff. Like I guess there's like it's becoming easier for starter people to get into ant keeping because there's more stuff out there to help them.
yeah. So I'm just watching the chat. Ant Hood's wife has apparently never thought about keeping ants. Well, I don't know. I'm not gonna believe that. I'm gonna say she did. I'll argue with her. No, I believe you. Not everyone, but you see my point when it comes to that. But sorry, I interrupted you with that.
No, it's a good. What I find though, when you said that like a lot of people, like when I go to my school and I tell people about like ant keeping and stuff, their faces, oh god, they
Yeah,
just
maybe it's just me that thinks like that. But yeah, I always think um, it's like I don't know. It's one of those things, especially as a child. You want to see them dig in. You want to, it's
yeah,
one of those things as a child that I think most children, at least once, like they see it in a program or something and they're like, oh, that's cool. I could deal with an ant farm. But that's the spark of interest, that, and then it's gone.
that was well when I had when I was like first got started watching Ants Canada,
Yeah,
uh I ordered a Lasius Niger Queen, uh, and waited months and months for her to get workers, and then I put her in. It wasn't one of those gel farms, but it was like the gel farm, but it had sand in,
right.
and it told you to like feed them apples and stuff. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
Well, I had one which was called the Antosphere. Ever heard of that?
yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it was rubbish. Absolutely terrible. Don't. It was like a toy. It was a toy. Let's be honest. It was a toy.
Yeah,
But
I think
it was
most of
like,
them sort. Oh,
sorry, go on.
most of them sort of nests. I feel like they are kind of made
Yeah,
for smaller kids.
yeah, definitely. But it was the only thing I could find at the time. Now this was like, how old am I now? I'm 31 this year. So this was like 14 years ago. I went looking, and I couldn't find where to buy a queen. I think I found a bullet ant queen on eBay for like 140 quid or something like that, and I was like, wow, that's not quite what I want at the moment. Um, excuse me. So I think that was pretty much like I couldn't find anything else at the time, so I just went down to I think it was Argos, which was selling them for 20 quid a go, and I got 3 of them and made quite a large thing, and then it was like just go scoop a colony up from outside and that's
Yeah.
fine.
I've
Okay.
seen some of the ant kits. They come with like a thing where you can order work like harvester ant workers, but they just
Yeah.
come as the workers. So literally, people could just have like a giant colony and just take out a couple workers, and then they can just send it off. And it's like,
Yeah,
I
there
guess,
is things like that. I try and because I've been asked several times if I will send some workers to someone, and I said like I'm happy to do it, but there's not really much of a point. One, I'd rather not make money off just like workers. I'd send them for free, but
yeah,
I just don't see the point because they won't act like proper workers if there's not a queen there, and you know what I mean. They might dig a little
yeah.
bit, but they're not going to be
They're
not
not
going
going
to
to
be
be
doing the proper thing.
not going to be a functioning colony really, because like I feel like sometimes the queen can kind of give them orders. I know I've seen a lot about especially with the hot like Mesa. I've seen people talk about how the workers in like Mesa colonies are way more in control than like the queens and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, I think some queens are more authoritative than others.
Yeah, I've seen my Mesa workers when I was moving my Mesa workers and my Mesa queen into the new nest. They were
Yeah.
trying to like drag her at one point into the nest.
Oh, wow. See,
Yeah,
that always worries me when I see that.
same. I got really worried. Because I'd heard like with Mesa especially that sometimes they can pull a bit too hard and accidentally kill the queen. So I got a bit scared, but
Yeah.
there wasn't really
Yeah.
much I could do.
Yeah, I mean, I always get worried whenever I see the queen getting dragged about by the workers because it's usually, in my opinion, it's usually a bad sign.
Yeah.
Queen's just not behaving or she's given up on life. In fact, the last time I saw that, it was they were dragging out one of my dead queens and it sucked because that was like the end of that colony.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, I mean, they're still sat on the shelf and they're still getting fed, but that colony's gone, not
Yeah.
happening. Which is a real shame. I've invested like a good year and a half into that colony and it's a real shame.
What species was it?
Manica rubida.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've had her since she was just a queen and she's done really well. And then she had like a die off of most of her workers. I can't explain why. Then I put her in the natural formicarium thing. They were doing really well again. The numbers are right back up to about 20, maybe 25 workers. And then they dragged out her dead body.
Oh god, that's bad.
Yeah, yeah. Just like, oh, what? I really did like that colony as well because like it's so beautiful.
Yeah. I had one of my Myrmica I had my Myrmica rugonoris colony a while ago,
Yeah,
and I was just watching like because I was just cleaning that like with the Myrmica rugonoris, the workers look so much like the queen. The only difference is the queen's like a bit darker,
right.
and I was just cleaning out their outworld on like, and I look in the outworlds at the dead bodies of the workers, and I see this just really dark worker. So I look in the nest and can't see the queen anywhere and realise that was the dead queen.
Ah, yeah, that sucks.
Mm.
Yeah, that sucks. But it's one of those things. I mean, you can't predict these things, and there's not always a good reason for them to die. They just die. I think
Yeah.
sometimes they get overtired. Wouldn't surprise me.
Sometimes what I've noticed is that was like a colony that I don't even know why they died. I'd like watered them, I'd fed them, they had everything they could need, but I feel like sometimes colonies can just die for
Yeah,
like
for
no
no
reason.
reason, no reason at all. They could just drop off, give up, and that is that basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you say, for no reason, and it's so frustrating because it's normally like your favorite colony.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I find, anyways.
Yeah, it Well, when I had my America colony, that was the only colony I had like then, because my mum only let me have one colony at a time back then.
Yeah,
So
I think that's very sensible of your mother.
yeah,
I mean,
well that was
saying that, my daughter has 2 colonies, but I look after them. Like she doesn't
yeah.
do an awful lot yet.
I think my mum is starting to trust me a bit more because I look after every single one of my colonies.
Yeah,
And
well, in my opinion, you're well knowledgeable on it. You know, you clearly are quite responsible about it all as well. So
yeah,
I expect your mum will allow it to broaden as you get older.
actually today I got a new pet. I got a tarantula today.
Well, there you go then. Like, hats off to your mum. I don't think I'd be allowing my kids to get a tarantula until they're like teenagers, like
He's actually
old
quite
teenagers, like 18, moving out.
he's quite cool. But I sent a photo to all my friends, and they're all. I'm pretty sure like almost everyone I know has arachnophobia. So
Okay,
yeah,
yeah. See, most people will be a little bit freaky about it, but you'll find there's a massive spider community out there. You know, lots of people do like
yeah,
tarantulas and spiders.
yeah. I mean, I'm kind of in like I'm in like all like I'm in the reptile community a bit because I've got my lizard.
Yeah,
I've got like my tarantula, and then I did have a mantis too. So
yeah,
I'm kind of in that, but like then I'm mainly in my ants. I'd say I think the
yeah.
ants are like my favorite.
See, ants are definitely my favorite, but like I said earlier, I'm going to be looking to get a mantis to put on my shelf though soon. So I'm open to suggestions from anyone in the community on what I should be getting. My go-to shop's going to be Mantis NI, obviously. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, just a given, isn't it? So I don't know what to get. I know he's got a great selection, and I keep looking like every couple of weeks because it changes all the time as well.
yeah, he
Now he's
gets
got
new
it.
species.
Yeah, that's it. And now he's got all these new enclosures as well. It was like, what do I do? I could get one of the larger ones and get a big mantis, or I could just have a little thing on the shelf. It's a hard one,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I've
So
well,
much choice.
I've been keeping mantises for actually quite a while now. It's been a couple of years. I've had like 5 species of mantis. They're insanely fun to feed.
Yeah, they look really cool. Like the way they track their prey and things like that. I'm well into that. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. But like, I'm gonna move on. That is the end of the interview. But thank you
All right.
very much for coming on, buddy.
Okay.
Do you want to say anything else before we let you go?
I don't know. I think I'm okay.
Brilliant. Right. Well, thank you very much for coming on, buddy. I shall see you again very shortly.
See ya.
Cheers, buddy. Right. And now, welcoming on the Ant Warrior. Hello, buddy. You all right? Cheers, buddy. Right. And now, welcoming on the Ant Warrior. Hello, buddy. You all right?
Yeah, hi.
There you go. I think there's a little bit of a lag. Right, we'll be all right.
Hello.
We'll make it work. Buddy, you all right?
Yeah. Hi.
I think there's a little bit of a lag. In fact, so do you want to just start with a little bit of an introduction about yourself, buddy?
Yeah.
So do you want to just start with a little bit of an introduction about yourself, buddy?
Yeah. So, well, I started keeping, and I don't know if this is really delayed. This is probably really delayed. Yeah. So, is this really delayed? Right. Keeping, I don't know if this is really delayed. So I started keeping ants a couple years ago. It was probably 3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And I started keeping them then. And I've got quite a few species now. And it's been really good. But I've had a lot of problems. But yeah, I've got to get mantis. But it's been a very long time. It's been probably about 3 years. I might have already said that. But 3 years, and it was very hard to start keeping them because my parents were not very, they weren't very into the idea of me keeping ants.
Okay. So are they starting to change their mind towards it now?
Yeah, they are starting to change their minds. My mum was definitely very supportive. My dad hates ants. He hates
Okay.
insects.
Okay. Now, that's fair enough. I can completely understand both sides of the story. But
Yeah.
I think there's always ways to compromise, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as long as I'm not keeping ants that are going to escape or like get everywhere,
Yeah.
then he's probably fine with it.
I think that's completely responsible. Like that's the best thing. That, to be honest, that's what you want as an ant keeper, anyways. You don't want your ants escaping. If your ants are escaping, you're not a very good ant keeper.
No.
I might get in trouble for saying that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, if my ants escape, I am not. I have to get the best stuff because if my ants escape, I will never be able to keep them if my dad finds any ants in the house. I'll never be able to keep them again because he hates them.
That's fair. Now, how will he know if it's your ants or like Lasius niger colony coming in from outside? Because let's be honest, we get them.
My Lasius niger colony is incredibly small, so it's not very likely that they're going to escape because they've got 5 walkers. They've got 5 workers now.
Yeah.
But we do have a colony in my conservatory that are kind of all over the floor. So they kind of break into the conservatory. So it's not really a problem if they do escape because they'll probably assume they're from there. So that's kind of a pass there for me.
No, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Well, let's hope they don't escape and everything, because you know you're an important part of the community, being an ant warrior. We enjoy your videos when you manage to get them out. So you know it would suck if you weren't able to keep ants anymore. Talking about your videos, you've returned to making videos. Is it going to be like an ongoing thing from now, do you think?
I hope it is because I've kind of got settled into school now. So I've got the time after school to do the videos. Whereas before I was kind of getting into the routine. But now that I'm back in that routine, I can do videos. So I have got some videos planned for next week. I've got a couple ideas. So I've got to decide on that.
Nice. Well, it is great to have you back making more videos. We always love more ant content in the community, you know.
Yeah, it's been really disappointing because I've kind of missed being in the ant community, but I've got to put school first. But now that I don't really have to focus as much on school, I can kind of do my own thing.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. I mean, I always say focus on your education first, because education will get you much further than ants. You know
ants are very educational. So.
Yeah, you know what I mean. If you get yourself a good job, you can buy all the ants that you ever want. If you don't get a good job, you're kind of stuck with Lasius niger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I always advocate trying to make the most of school. It's something I failed to do massively when I was at school. I failed massively. Everyone can know that. I left school with very little to my name. Obviously, I was in care for most of my school years, so I only did like part of year 9, then part of year 11, and that was it for my school. So yeah, I always say it's very important to get a great education because it just makes your life a lot easier, you know, and then you can have the freedom to enjoy hobbies like that, you know.
Yeah, it is just focusing on what you need to do and then it's what you want to do. So keeping ants is what I want to do, but it's not what I need to do. So I need to focus on school and do that. But now that like once you've got school down, you can just kind of do whatever you want because you've got that time. You don't really need to focus on it.
Yeah, no, that's completely it. And that's, you know, that's what I'm trying to say. The more you go through now, the less you have to do later on. I mean, I sit here, I work 3 different jobs, and just to do it all, you could enjoy life a lot better without sounding preachy. But anyways, so what ants have you got? Let's get back to the ants. What ants have you got, buddy?
Right, so I've got a Camponotus herculeanus colony, and they've got 4 workers right now. I got them, I got them 7 months ago, actually, and they still had 4 workers. And what's been kind of annoying is whenever they get a pupae, it just disappears. I assume they eat it, but you can't really tell that they've eaten it because they don't grow any larger. Like, you can't really see their abdomen swell. So it's really confusing. But they literally disappear. There's no trace that pupae was ever there, because the pupae that they're producing at the moment, they have no cocoon. So that's kind of annoying.
Yeah, see, Herculeans are a really difficult species. I've struggled with mine for, well, 1.5 2 years now. I've just started making progress with them. I don't know why. They just, all of a sudden, the workers started going and collecting food. It's like, you've never bothered to do that before. Why are you doing it now? But I'm not going to stop them, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it's annoying when you just you keep that colony, they don't do anything, and then they do it. And then you kind of expect them to not do, you kind of expect them to die, but then they do well, and you're kind of well, why? But so I moved them from my ant table to my ant drawer, and in my ant drawer I've got my heat cable. I didn't have a heat cable when I got them, so they've been off the heat cable for 7 to 8 months, I think it was. So they didn't really have much brood. They had brood, but they've had those larvae since I got them, but they were tiny. But as soon as I put them on the heat cable, they tripled in size in about 2 weeks. So it was very good.
I mean, I've actually reached a point now where I've turned off all my heat cables. Well, the thermostats are still on, but I've actually disconnected my heat cables because they're just not using them, if you know what I mean. It's so warm, because it's quite warm outside now, and my house with all the other heat pads and the tanks and everything else, it's quite warm in here. But as you know, every time I do an episode for the last month, I've been sat here sweating.
It is quite warm in my room. I've got 2 thermometers and hygrometers. I've got one on my desk, and my room's 22.6 degrees. But the thing is, because they're in a drawer, the temperature is it's all in there, and I've got the thermometer on top of the heat cable, so it shuts off when it reaches the right temperature. I've set it to 26 degrees, but it only gets to about 25.5 at the most, so it's not gonna burn my ants.
I mean, not all heat cables will go up to 30 degrees or whatever, but as long as they're around 25, 26, most ants I find are generally okay. Not all species, but most species are okay about 25, 26 degrees.
I've checked on all of the temperature needs for all of my ants, and they all are 24 to 26 degrees. I know Lasius niger, they can get up to 28 degrees without a problem.
Yes.
So that is really weird because they're up in England, and England is generally quite cold.
Yes,
but
it is. But then we do get really hot summers as well.
Yeah, that is true. Especially in London. It's very cold. It's colder up here, and it's really annoying. I have sun, and then we're up here when it's pouring with rain.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the other day I was walking about, and it's beautiful sunshine, and it's nice beaches, and I can look over on a clear day and just about see France. And then I think about you up there, up north, all cold, and you're almost in Scotland, buddy.
Pretty much. We're quite so we're in the northwest. So it's not where I live. I live in Rochdale, and it's been rated really bad to live in, but it's really nice where I live, and I don't understand why. I mean, it is cold and it rains a lot, but it is a really nice place to live, in my opinion, because we're right in the moors.
Yeah, no, I've seen it on maps. It does look like a nice place. I haven't ever. Well, no, I've been up there a few times, but it's not like I really know the geography well or the towns and cities well.
Yeah, to be honest, we moved to our village a year ago. We were in a different village, and we've moved to this village, and it's quite a lot smaller than my old village, but it is nicer, in my opinion, up here because instead of like being right next to a main road, I'm at the top, like in the center. I don't know why the center of my village is really high. It's like on the edge of the village, which is where I am. So I don't understand why.
Microclimates. I mean, we on my little island we get like a little microclimate. It can be beautiful sunshine everywhere else, and we'll have like the most dense fog in the world where you can't even see a hand. Or we can have beautiful sunshine and Weymouth will be snowing.
Yeah, we just pray for when we get a heat wave from a different country. We love it when that, because it
Yeah.
gets really warm and it's a nice break from the rain.
Yeah. I mean, where would you go to the beach? Do you even have beaches up there?
Well, I'm not near the ocean, but I do go to Wales a lot. So we go to Anglesey, and that's that little island, and that's got a lot
Oh,
of
wow.
beaches.
Wow. Okay. That's like a whole nother world to me.
Wales is really nice.
Yeah. I've been to Wales a few times. It's the problem with it is I can't understand the signs. I know they've got the English ones and the Welsh words, but just having the Welsh words there throws my brain into disarray.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn Welsh because like part of my dad's family is Welsh, but I only know a couple words because it's very hard, and it's very hard to just keep on learning it. So I basically only know like one word.
Yeah, that's like me with the French language. What was it? Je mange omelette du fromage. I eat cheese omelets. That's about all I know. Yeah, it got me through like a whole week in France, so that's good enough for me.
Yeah, someone just starts talking to you in French, I eat.
Yeah, see, there we go. Aunt Antits is going to start speaking in Welsh now, and no one's going to know what he's saying. I think it's because I'm dyslexic. When I start seeing like you see the English word, and then you see, I'm going to say a lot of crazy letters. it like messes with my brain and kind of molds into one, and nothing makes sense past that. They're saying Blackpool. Blackpool's amazing. Blackpool beaches, Blackpool. So Blackpool's apparently close to you, or where you would go. I have seen Blackpool. I'm going to say it's probably not as nice as Bournemouth, but we'd give it a go. There's lots of arcades and stuff at Blackpool, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a lot.
See, yeah, I could deal with that. I like arcades. I'd rather spend my time in the arcades than on the beach. I'm not overly a beachy person.
No, I don't like the sand because it gets in your shoes and then it just ruins your day.
It ruins your sandwiches.
Yeah. You've not lived until you've had a crunchy sand sandwich.
There you go, yeah. I mean, that's why they're called sandwiches, because they've got sand in them naturally. Oh, well. So, right, let's get back to the ants, because we keep diverting off. You know what I'm like. Right, what ant have you got? You've told us about your Herculinus and whatnot. What else have you got?
So I have Chromatogaster scutellaris. I have Lasius niger from last year. I caught her. She's got 5 workers now. I caught her in Wales. And then I have let me think. It's hard remembering them all now. Well, I have the Tetramorian Kaispitum queen.
Yeah.
I don't know how I forgot her. Then I've got a new queen on the way, Solenopsis fugax. She should be here hopefully soon.
Nice.
And then Mesa barbarus, obviously. How am I forgetting all of these? I've got, let me have a look. I've forgotten all of my ants. I'm pretty sure I only have one more though. And then I've got, I don't know, can't remember what they're called. I think they're a Phenogaster dulcine or something. I don't know how to pronounce the name. But they're the colonies that I have.
Quite a few then.
Pardon?
quite a few at the moment.
Yeah, it's really. I don't want to get many more ants right now because I'm scared of when they get really big, I'm going to have to give some of them away. Because I've got quite a few and I do not have much space in my room to keep them. That's the only place I'm really allowed to keep them because if they're anywhere else, my dad will flip. So,
Yeah. See, now my oldest daughter's actually like that. She doesn't like me putting them around the house. She's like, come on, like they've got shelves in their bedroom that I could use.
yeah, like a museum.
Yeah, if it was up to me, I'd have ants on every shelf in every room. But for some reason, the children and my wife are like, no, you can't do that.
I mean, they don't really want to be eating their lunch with a colony of ants.
Well, that's it. Like, well, to be honest, like I looked at getting a dining table and hollowing it out and making it like a natural formicarium inside. That'd be cool.
That'd be sick. I mean, I've always wanted to keep like one of those species like Caribera diversa, but then they just get so big and it's just unmanageable. When they get so big, you can't really manage them, especially if you're only limited to the space of your room.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there's
that's
not
it.
very much.
They do
space.
grow massively.
Yeah, I've had a look at them and I've always wanted to keep them, but
Yeah.
not really
you got-
much space.
You gotta think ahead. I always say this, like when you buy ant colonies, you've got to think ahead to the size that they're going to grow. So, like, if I went and filled these 4 shelves with like 50 new ant colonies because they fit on the shelf, I ain't going to have room for them, am I?
No.
No. I might
That's
have
the
room
thing.
now.
I had to build a table for my ants with my dad because I had literally no space. My desk, it's covered in crap because I'm not very good with tidying things. So my desk is kind of a mess. And I had to build the table. The table's really good, but the problem is it's quite far from a plug. So that's why I've had to move them to a drawer. How did I forget that word? So I have moved them all.
Yeah.
But I want to get a new heat cable or see if I can get a longer one to put on my table. But right now, I'm going to keep all of the smaller colonies because all my colonies, they're not very big. The largest one is the Mesa colony and they're in a tubs and tubes setup. They don't fill the test tube or anything. So it's quite a while until I'll have to move any of them into nests. But when the Solenopsis fugax, they grow quite fast. So hopefully we will be getting some actual ants in nests soon.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. I mean, there's no need to rush it, is there? Let's be honest. I mean,
No,
it's always good to get them to that size, but I think the longer you can leave it without forcing them into a nest, try and keep them in that test tube, they're only going to benefit from it,
Yeah, in previous years when I was only new to ant keeping, I rushed quite a few of my colonies. I say quite a few, it was only like one, but I rushed them into a nest.
Yeah.
And that's most likely why they had their downfall.
Yeah.
And I regret doing that to all of my colony. Well, not all of them. I regret doing that to my old Lasius Niger colony because they were doing really well, and I rushed them into a nest because I was so excited to actually see them. And then that was their downfall.
Yeah, it is for most people. It's a common mistake. I mean, we all get overexcited. I get very excited, as everyone knows. I start jumping about like a little kid. But we all get very excited about things and we're like, it's time. We can finally, and quite often it is too early. It's having that extra patience and resilience, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely something I struggle with even now.
Yeah, the patience is hard because when you've not got many colonies, you want to see the most of the biggest one. And then you kind of, you look at them too often. You open the test tube, you do loads of stuff with them, you feed them too often. And then you lose that colony and then you have no other big colonies left. And then that's what I made the mistake of because I had one big colony, well, 20 workers, but I had one colony that was large in my eyes at the time. and I wanted to look at them all the time. I wanted to feed them all the time. Not that I had any feeder insects. All I fed them was like I fed them a lot of sugar, and they rarely took it because I fed them so much. But I did feed them some protein, and that was like spiders and things I found around the house.
Yeah.
But that colony eventually passed.
Yeah, it's like you say, it's all a learning curve, isn't it? Especially in your first few colonies.
Yeah, definitely. There's so much I did learn from them. Like now, all of my colonies, they're very like they do a lot better than my previous colonies because they taught me so much about not looking at them, patience, feeding them at the right times, and that's when I started to actually find the Facebook groups and stuff, and I started actually getting involved with the community.
Yeah, like we said in the interview previously, that community aspect is really important to helping us all learn from each other.
Yeah, it is. It's one of the biggest things that I think the ant community can actually like benefit from, because keeping ants, it's quite a weird hobby because not many people do it, and ants, people see them as disgusting, so it's weird to keep ants. But I think Facebook, because there's so many groups and there's so many people that actually enjoy it, it's really easy for you to benefit from it because everyone's eager to talk about ants because they've not had any chance to actually do it with other people in their like areas.
Yeah, 100%. I think, like you say, everyone's desperate to have someone to talk to about it.
Yeah, like there's no one that I know of in Rochdale that keeps ants. So, other than me, obviously.
I'm sure you'll meet people as like time progresses.
Hopefully.
But right, so we have some other really important things to discuss, don't we, Ant Warrior?
Yes.
Do you want to go ahead and just start? I don't know. I'll let you lead on this one. It's your amazing project.
So right now I'm looking to buy, I think it's a CNC machine so I can start producing white ong nests and acrylic nests. So that's my big project at the moment because I like to have things to do and I've got really nothing to do other than my ants. But I think it's going to be really exciting because I've been looking into it and I've designed a couple nests. And I think I'm going to start off with some smaller nests once I can afford to buy it because I'm saving up at the moment. And so I've had to ban myself from buying any other queens because all of my money is kind of gone. I have got some money from actually selling lollies at school, which is kind of I'm not allowed to do it anymore because the teachers found out. But I've got probably about £90 saved up from that. So
that's not bad.
Not got much to go, but I should be able to afford it quite soon.
Yeah, that's super exciting. So when you start producing your nests, are you going to have your own website?
Yes, I have worked on the website. I'm pretty sure it's not finished, obviously, because a website is never finished. But I've got the first edition of it ready. I'm just waiting. I don't want to start paying for a domain name until I actually get the products ready.
Yes. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, I'm super excited about it. You're thinking it's going to be fairly fast. Do you reckon you're going to have nests on the market by, say, end of the year?
I think I will, but I mean, there's a lot of testing I do need to do. Like, my aim is to get my first nest, not many nests. I just want to get one nest at least sold on my website by the end of the year. So it won't. I don't think I'll be having like loads of sales. I think I just want to aim for one nest to be sold by the end of the year, and that'll be a victory.
Yeah,
because it's my first thing.
I think that's a great goal to have. I mean, it's always welcome in the community to have another ant shop, another producer of nests, especially if they're going to be great quality with good service, like I expect we'll get from you. It's going to be brilliant. I think you've got some great ideas as well. You know a lot of stuff. So have you actually, you say you've got some designs already. Have you like worked out how you're going to hydrate them and all of that lot?
Well, I've been thinking about it. I've only really drawn a couple of designs, but I've been thinking about kind of having So do you know how, like, have you ever seen the Ants Australia White-on nests?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
So he uses paint on the outside, and I think I want to do something like that, but I don't want to copy his design because that's just not original and it's kind of boring to copy something. So I kind of want to do a hybrid of acrylic and white-on in the future. At the start, I
Okay.
am just probably going to do a white-on, but oh my god, I keep on getting like these remove files from your computer. But I want to start by doing. I want to start by doing some experiments with
Yeah.
mixing white on with acrylic. So I want to have like white on surrounded by acrylic to keep the hydration in, because one of the biggest problems with white on is that it evaporates way too fast.
Yes.
So if you had acrylic surrounding the white on, that could hopefully eliminate the hydration kind of
Yeah.
evaporating.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. I think that could work quite well, actually. It's not something I'm incredibly knowledgeable about, is making nests. I've tried it a few times, got fed up with it a few times, and then I just kind of buy them. But I'm sure there's lots of people out there which would be willing to give you advice in the subject of it. Like you say,
Yeah,
that hydration issue is always the thing which kind of plagues my mind whenever we look at a white-on nest, is whether it's going to like stay hydrated.
Yeah, because it's like so aerated that there's so many gaps in white-on, and a lot of ants can't stay in white-on because of it can be easily burrowed into. But if you had if you had acrylic on the outside, they can't really get past that acrylic layer. So they would still, like, if they wanted to, they could burrow through, but you don't want that. But if they did, it wouldn't be as big of a problem as if it was just white-on. So it could solve quite a few problems. But when I do manage to get the CNC machine, I'll be able to run a load of tests. And I'm gonna put like a thermometer and hygrometer inside of a nest that I'm gonna make. Then I'm gonna test which kind of nest style kind of holds the moisture and humidity. Same thing, the moisture and the temperature the best.
Let's say lots of testing to come before actual finished product.
Yeah, it will be fun though, because it'll give me something that I can work on and do after school rather than just watching my phone, which is what I usually do.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great project for you. And like you say, at your age, you're stepping into it at the right time. You've got a focus, you've got your schooling under control, and I think you've got something good going here.
Yeah, it will be very fun, and I think, because there's only a couple of, like, there's a lot of places that you can get nests from, but I've not really seen any that have white-on, like, as an actual nest. Like, they have, like, Ants Australia, you can get white-on nests from him, but they cost so much to actually buy, because it's like, I think it was 60 Australian dollars to ship the nests from Australia to us.
Wow.
So it's a lot of money to buy one nest.
Yeah.
So I thought if I could do something similar to that, it'd give people like access to that kind of nest.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm starting to supply Porter nests and things.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, the shipping is painful, and then you're waiting months for it. And like, if there's a UK supplier, so much better.
Definitely. Because like in the UK, we have a lot of ant stores where you can actually buy ants. We've got Wakushi in that. Wakushi, Antboy UK, Ant Labs. We've got quite a few companies, but I've not seen many of them do white-on nests because not many of them actually see them as good.
Yeah.
But I think if you can eliminate those problems, then white-on is a very, very good thing to actually use. Yeah. But is that if you can? Like, if you can't, then there's no point in using it because it's got so many downsides.
Yeah, I think making that hybrid will be like the key to it.
Yeah, because there's downsides to acrylic and then downsides to white-on, and then if you put them together, they kind of cancel each other's downsides.
Yeah, Yeah, I get you. So, have you got like an end goal? Are you planning to be a big time supplier, or do you just want to kind of mill around in the background and be like, here's my nests?
Well, to start off, I don't want to be producing so much because I'm kind of afraid of not being able to sell too many and then the store just going bankrupt. So
Yeah.
what I want to do is I just want to produce a couple of nests, some foundation size nests, and then if people request larger nests, then that's when I'll start producing more.
Yeah, brilliant. I think, like you say, you put a lot of thought into it, and it sounds like you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I have been researching for the past month or so.
Wow, good. And I know what you're like when you research. You do a lot of research. So, yeah. No, brilliant. Well, it's been absolutely fantastic speaking to you, Ant Warrior. Thank you very much for joining us, buddy.
Thank you for letting me on.
No problem at all. You're always welcome. But I'm going to let you go now. So, is there anything else that you want to say before you go?
No, thank you.
Brilliant. No worries, mate. I'll speak to you again soon.
Bye.
Bye. And that's it for our interviews tonight. We're going to have a little duck race in a minute. Who's up for a duck race? If you are new to the stream, if you haven't seen our duck races before, it's not for a prize. It is just for fun. Shout out a number. There's 6 people in the stream at the moment. Shout out a number. It's first comes, first served. We're going to do a duck race, not for a prize, just for fun. And all I have to do now is type in D, and it's the first thing to come up on my computer. How cool is that? So Stacy is number 3. Ant Warrior says me. 2. Okay, 2. You confused me for a second. All right, here we go. Duck races. 6. We have got 6, haven't we? Yeah, we've got 6 people. We're going to go for a 2-minute duck race because I think 2 minutes is fair for ducks. You know, you don't want to rush them for like a 10-second sprint down 100 meters. They're not Quack Bolt or whatever you're going to call them. Okay, so we've got Stacy at 3, Ant Warrior at 2, Sarah at 5, and Mark at 1. And here is the duck race. We have Baseball Hat Duck. He's kind of going for the same look I've got, but he can't quite pull it off. We got Purple Stripy Zigzaggy Duck. We got Bat Duck. Bat Duck is really good at these races. It doesn't mean anything, but I've seen him win at least once. Policeman Duck. He's normally chasing people. He's not normally ahead. We got Plain Duck. The Plain Duck gang are they're dangerous. They're gangsters. And then we got the Royal Guard Duck or Soldier Duck, whatever you want to refer to him as. He's pretty cool. He knows his stuff. He stands about outside the Queen's Palace, quacks about and waddles. And on the count of 3, 2, 1, here we go. So we got Stacy is Bat Duck, Ant Warrior is the Purple Duck, Sarah is the Plain Duck, Mark is the Baseball Hat Duck. Go pinkety dinkety. Yeah, I can't even pronounce that. Number 6 is well out ahead, Soldier Duck leading the way. I don't think it's going to last long. Number 5 is creeping up behind. Closely followed by number 4 and number 3 making their little push as well. Number 2's holding the back of the field with number 1, but I think they're saving their energy to make that last break. Number 6 still holding. Number 5 is dropping back. And number 2 and number 3 are battling out for second place. Number 1's come to join the battle. It's going to be a tough race. Now, Bat Duck and Soldier Duck are battling it out. I think Bat Duck has just taken first place. Use the utility belt, yeah. Oh, Bat Duck is starting to fall back. Oh no. It's all coming out level now. So we got 6, 5, 3, all in a line. 4's joining the line. 2 and 1 are just slightly further behind. Last 15 seconds now. They're all going for it. Final sprint. Here we go. This is going to be the toughest race of their entire duck life. And number 2 has taken it out of nowhere. Well done, number 2, the Ant Warrior. That came out of nowhere. Should we have another one whilst we're here? I don't mind. Let's have another race, right? Well done, Ant Warrior. You got that one. Sticking with the same numbers. Here we go. These ducks are going to be absolutely knackered by the time we're done. Haha. But then you should be able to race for more than 4 minutes. I mean, well, not bolt, I suppose. Depends what you train for. My last race, I did. Was it that? I can't remember which one I'd done last. But one of my last races was like 8 kilometers, but I ran to the race start and then I ran home afterwards. So I ended up doing more like 16, maybe 20. But by the time I got there, I was well warmed up and ready to go. So number 1 is well out in front, baseball cap duck. He's got it faced back, which is only what I do when I'm going fast. It's like speed lines, you know. Number 6 and number 1 are holding it, fighting for it. Number 4 and 3 are joining in. All the ducks are fighting for that positioning right now. The last 30 seconds now. Coming down that home straight. Number 2 is holding it again, but I don't know. I don't know if you can get lucky twice, number 2. Anna, Bat Duck. I don't know what that means, Stacey. It's probably a reference to Batman or something, but no. Okay, I get ya. So well done, number 4. I don't think anyone was number 4. The police duck. Is it a police duck or is it a what are those? What's that band called? What was that band called? The ones which did the YMCA and that lot. I can't remember. They had a biker, a policeman, an Indian chief. You know the ones. It might be a duck replicating that because I don't see many police officers with that hat, to be fair. But you never know. I'm not master of police. I don't know what they wear. Oh dear. I do chat some random stuff, don't I? Village people, thank you, Stacey. I knew it was something like that. I wanted to call them all sorts of things, but not the village people. That sounds bad, doesn't it? Like, I wanted to call them all sorts of other band names. Oh dear. So there was another thing I was going to ask for community involvement with. So the Ant Keeping Awards that we had at the start of the year, it was very good, but it was quite small, wasn't it? We had like 500 and something odd people apply. And we based our judgment off that, but we did say you have to take it with a pinch of salt because it was only 500 odd people which voted. So this year, I'm hoping to get that much bigger. I want thousands of people voting, thousands of people involved. But I would really like some community involvement at this early stage to help me plan some of the categories. Obviously, we're going to have the best ant shop of this year for you personally as one of the categories that you can vote in. That was one of the ones from last year. And we're going to have best podcast of the year. But what other categories would you like to see in the Ant Keeping Awards? Now, bear in mind, I am not involved. You cannot vote for my shop or my podcast or anything that's Ants on a Rock because I am hosting it. I thought it was only fair, you can't be in it if you're hosting it. But if you can think of any categories that you would like to see in the Ant Keeping Awards, I'd love for it to grow. I'd love to give more people the little certificates. I'm really hoping that we could get some kind of prize for them, make a big thing out of these Ant Keeping Awards. And maybe we could spread it a little bit further. I got to go make hubby a cuppa as he just came in. Yeah, Stacey, no worries. Husband needs a cup of tea or coffee. That's a very important job. When a man walks in, right, and this isn't sexist, when a man walks in, he needs a hot drink, right? Especially at this time of night. He needs a hot drink, sit down for 5 minutes, let his brain process the rubbish days just had at work. And then you can be like, oh yeah, the Ant stuff is on. I always say that, like, when I get in from work, I just want a cup of coffee, 5 minutes sit down to process, and then I'm good to deal with whatever. I think it's important. And that's not sexist, that's women as well. Anyone doing any kind of anything, when they get home, should have a cup of coffee. First thing, coffee is very important in my life, if you haven't realised. I drink a lot of coffee. Haha. You gotta drink a lot of coffee if you're gonna stay up as late as I stay up. But I wouldn't advise it to anyone. I'm quite unique and lucky in the fact that I don't have to worry about my ongoing health. I know I'm screwed. Don't do it to yourselves, though. Do what I say and not what I do, I think is the terminology for that, isn't it? Oh, good evening, Crazy Antics. I did see you come in, but I haven't had a chance to say hello. I've just been chatting and chatting and chatting. You know what I'm like. Thank you for joining. Who wants to hear coolest, most popular species of the year? No, I thought that, but how do we... Yeah, I suppose we could vote favourite species of the year and everyone could take a vote on that actual favourite species. It's going to be a hard one to getting the votes in. I'm just going to have 15,000 different ant species there to go through. It'll be fine. I'll do it. I don't mind. That's a good one. I'm writing that one down. Thank you, Ant Warrior. That's pretty... Right, cool. Yeah, got that down. Well, what was I about to say? I was going to say something. Oh yeah, who wants to hear some really cool news, actually? Something I'm incredibly happy and proud about. So my non-verbal daughter, you might hear her in the background because she's still going well, she does. She kind of makes noises. She actually said a word, and she spelled it out. She went duh or guh, dog. And it blew our minds. And then she went duh or t dot. And she came out with 4 or 5 words in a row. And we were just like, what? And she would spell each one. So it's okay, you've learned that somewhere. That's pretty amazing. Awesome. So yeah, we were really super excited. Like we said, she's 7 this year. And she's never spoken a word. And only lately started making other noises. And then to actually come out with words, it's still a little bit undefined, but they're definite words. We've super excited. It's blown our minds. So happy. So happy. If it can lead on to further communication, then it'd be amazing. Communication is key in everything in life, I think. And it's always been a bit of a barrier, we could say. But I suppose we could talk more about the ant keeping stuff, because I always talk random stuff in these chat shows, but Crazy Antics. I'm going to read that in a second. I always chat random stuff in these chat shows, but I do try and keep it somewhat ant related sometimes. Okay. So best newcomer. Best. Would that be like newcomer shop, newcomer YouTuber, or what would you mean by best newcomer? Best production value? Production value. Most informative videos. So I'm just writing all of this down so that it could be broken down into subcategories. Okay. Community champion. Yeah, I like that. Community champion. Best queen ant store, best ant nest store, most unique nest. Okay. Best ant, best nest, most unique nest. Brilliant. Thank you for that, Crazy Antics. That's really helpful. Like I say, it'd just be great to have like more awards going out and like more categories. I'm gonna send out surveys in like November time, probably November time. I'm gonna send out surveys absolutely everywhere, as many places as I can, and obviously feel free to fill them out and share them out and try and get it as widespread as possible. We go. I want thousands and thousands. I want every ant keeper to take a vote on this, really. And it can only get better. As it grows, it will be worth more value because more people have voted, if that makes sense. Because I said this year we had over 500 votes, but you know what I mean? It's not. I said you had to kind of take the answers with a pinch of salt because it's only 500 votes. Welcome back, Stacey, and thank you, Crazy Antics. I thought it was a good idea, so I went with it. You know what I'm like. If I get an idea, I go. I do it. Whatever. Excuse me. Yeah, and Ant Oscars is kind of the idea I'd love to get to, like have a little red carpet and I was hoping to put it into one of the exhibitions because I'm planning another exhibition next year. Probably a smaller exhibition event, but I might add an awards ceremony into it. So if anyone does want to come, then they can come and actually collect their award there and then. I think that would be pretty cool. But that exhibition is going to be more of an exhibition than a convention. Because this one's like a convention, exhibition, trade show sort of thing, all in one. That one's going to be more of an exhibition, awards ceremony. Golden ant statues for trophies. If I can find someone who will do golden ant statues, I might look into that. We could call it the Anties. No, I don't know if that's good. No, I'm not getting any good names right now. You got yourself a Horlicks too, Stacey. It's one thing I've never tried is Horlicks. Is it hot chocolate? No, it's barley, isn't it? Is that malt or what is Horlicks? I mean, it sounds like it shouldn't exist. It's got a name to it, we could say. Golden ant nest, yeah. That would be awesome trophies. The Anties, yeah. Maybe it would be the Anties, but then we could get some like really angry women come along, like, but we're the Anties. Yeah, it's malt. Okay, malt. So I don't think I've ever had Horlicks. I'm gonna have to try it at some point. I am quite partial to a hot chocolate, but I'm more of a coffee guy. But right, so I ran out of coffee the other day, and because I had decaf, now I am outright against drinking decaf. What's the point, right? So I put the decaf coffee in with a cup of tea because I needed a coffee. That's how bad the obsession goes. Again, obsession, not addiction. I've got it under control. in the fact that if I say I want a coffee, I go and make a coffee. It's completely under control. Malted milk biscuits. I like malted milk biscuits. I could deal with that. It's good before bed. See, I drink coffee before I go to bed. I actually send my wife down at like 2 a.m. to make me a coffee before I go to sleep. It helps me sleep. But what's it? I've got, because of the things I've got going on, caffeine doesn't act the same way with me. It's not such a hyperactivity thing. It's like a downer for me almost. It sort of levels me out a bit. I'm not crazy. I'm just slightly crazy. I always say, like, you got levels to everything. So it's completely not true. Don't listen to this as health advice at all. But if you like, your alcohol level starts to drop, you got to drink to bring it back up to make yourself feel right. And if your food level starts to drop, it's like The Sims, isn't it? You've got all your toilet needs and your health needs and all of that. When your levels start to drop, you gotta top it up. Oh my god, such a random conversation. When you start getting into the inner workings of my brain, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go, as I'm back to work tomorrow after 2 weeks off. Have a good night. Thank you very much for joining Crazy Antics. You're always welcome to join, and you're always really helpful and come out with some great comments. So thank you for joining. Have fun at work after your 2 weeks off. Don't work too hard that you like get tired or something. I don't know. Enjoy yourself, buddy. I actually quite like my work. When I do work, I get well into it, and I think I annoy the people I work with because they're like, "Why are you always so happy?" Like, mate, I'm getting paid for carrying stuff. Like, it's fine. A drunk guy on the bus today was saying beer is just like water, really. It is and it isn't. Like, it's got water in it, but that's about as far as it goes. I've got school in the morning, very disappointed. Yeah, Aunt Warrior, don't be staying up too late watching this because you have got school in the morning. End of the Easter holidays, they are over. Kids are going back. I'm free. I love spending time with my kids, but it does mean that I have less time to spend on work and videos and stuff like that. As you may have noticed, I've been falling behind with my videos lately and stuff because it's just been too nice to not take the kids out around the island and stuff. The other day we went for a really nice walk, like most of the way around the island, and yeah, we had some really nice times. In fact, there's a few places that I didn't get to take them to this holidays. I'm going to have to wait till the next, like the big summer holidays, or just do it over a weekend. There was a couple of places that I found on my own, like they're on the island and I've never been there. And it was like, okay, I want to bring the kids up here. But for us to actually take them up there, because Evie's in her chair, it's like we've got to push her down the hill to come back up the other hill. Because if you think of Portland like a big M, we live on the one side of the M and everything else is on the other side of the M. So you have to come down the middle to go back up. And with her chair, it's quite difficult. And with my bad chest infection, and it's almost important. But yeah. Oh, Sarah, I know. Like, you blow my mind, Sarah. Honestly, like, so anyone that doesn't know Sarah homeschools your children, don't you? And their curriculum, if that's the right word to use, the stuff you do is always so interesting. And it's like you've actually put a lot of thought and effort into it. So really well done and fair play to you. I was absolutely blown away with when they made that model of the inner ear. That absolutely blew my mind. Wow. Like, wow. But just like you've got such a great kind of, what's the word? Outlook, lifestyle, whatever. They're learning great things, they're experiencing life. And I think it's really good because you see some people which are homeschooling and it's not quite as good. You know what I mean? No, fair play to you. You've done it really well. Hats off. My hat is actually taken off to you and waved in the air because you blow my mind with some of the things you do. And from what I can see, they're lovely children, which is nice in this day and age. Yeah, it is more fun if you learn more if it's fun. Definitely, I completely agree with that. I mean, I try and be fun with my kids. I can be a bit stressy and a bit boring, like anybody, but I try and keep it fun. I mean, how many Easter egg hunts have we had? My God, we've had bugs into everything. Yeah, we've had Easter egg hunt. Right, so my youngest, with being saved, you do an Easter egg hunt with her one day. She then expects it every day for weeks. So we've done a lot of Easter egg hunts, and I've sort of ran out of places to hide them. But she loves it. I mean, she could do it, and then you could hide the same eggs again, and she'd love doing it. It's all good. It's all good. Seeing the smiles on her face makes it all worth it. Stacey was homeschooled for most of your school. A lot better education than your cousins got in public school. Yeah, I think, like you say, if they put effort into it, then you can get a much better education. One thing I always say about schools is they teach a lot of useless rubbish. Most of it's really good. Excuse me, coughing again. It's not necessarily the stuff that they're teaching you, but they're trying to show that you've got the ability to learn, so that when you get into a college or a workplace, they can see that you've got the ability to sit there, get your head down, and actually do a job. It's not necessarily about what you've learned. Whereas I think if you're doing homeschooling, you're actually learning practical things. You're learning how to do things with your hand. You're learning life. You're learning how to go shopping. You're learning how to pay bills. All these things that you don't get taught in school, you can actually teach your kids. I mean, if someone had taught me how to pay bills, that would have made my first year of living on my own a lot easier, because ringing those companies and setting all of that up is not something they teach you in school. I was really unlucky. I missed huge chunks of my schooling because of being in foster care. But I was really lucky in the fact that it was replaced not with homeschooling, but wider experiences. I did 6 months survival in a forest. I did canoeing and yachting and things, outward experiences. I did motorbike mechanics. I worked. I lived with someone who owned a massive music website, and I got to travel all around the country. Yeah, I learned life that way. But when it actually came to going back to school, I couldn't get on with it, and that's why I really failed in school. I just couldn't get on with it. I needed someone to homeschool me, but I don't think the problem with me was I just wanted to be left alone as a kid. My dad used to come home early from work and would say, "I'm the principal. We are having a field trip," and we would go to the museum or fishing or helping him working on rebuilding the car. Yeah, that's really cool. When we first went into lockdown, I tried the whole sitting at the desk thing for like a couple of days, and we did really well, and we had some really great lessons, mainly because I made them fun. But I just thought it got too boring, and in the end, we just taught them stuff, got them practical stuff. I mean, the amount of things I've taught Kayla, my oldest one, Kayla, she could build like circuit boards, robots, and things like that with her eyes shut now, because we've done so many of those sorts of things. And yeah, you do what you need to do. I think a lot of it is wasted time in school, and I think not wasted, but I think the curriculum these days could definitely be improved to suit what we actually need to know. My parents were teachers. I think I'm a frustrated teacher. We all do that life skills, but I'm teaching my 11th astrophysics too. See, now that's awesome. Like actually teaching them stuff like that. Because again, my eldest, she's so bloody smart. It's annoying. She can literally absorb anything like that, and like she reads I don't really read storybooks. I would much rather read encyclopedias and stuff. She's exactly like me, but she takes it in twice as fast. which is amazing. Now, I will say all my children are on the autism spectrum. They get it from me and my side of the family. All of my side of the family is autistic. I was diagnosed when I was 11. Obviously, my youngest is highly autistic, and we're all on the spectrum to some degree. So she's kind of got the good parts of it, whereas she's just super, super smart. Like, it's unfair on everyone else. But no, it's not. It's not unfair. You know what I mean. Bless her. Right, it is 10 to 11. I'm probably going to call it quits at about 11 o'clock tonight. Just because my chest, believe it or not, actually gets worse the later in the evening. And you'll start to hear it soon because I'm starting to feel it. I'll be out of breath and I won't hardly be able to talk to you probably within half an hour of now. But I assure you, I am getting fine. I'm getting better. Don't worry about my health. It's all part of my conditions. I've had it for a very long time and I'm very, very used to it. It's all good fun and games. Is there anything else anyone wanted to talk about whilst we are here? Is there anyone else that wanted to suggest a type of mantis? Because I still can't make my mind up. I think, Sarah, most kids are these days, or not these days. I think most kids are, like, to some degree. I think it's not necessarily like a bad thing. I think, to be honest, I've always said it could be the next stage in evolution because these kids seem to be smarter. A lot of them are like more focused. You know, it depends on what you get, but like different traits of it. I mean. But generally speaking, I think there is a hint of your next stage of evolution in some of these kids. It would make sense. They are the next generation. Solenopsis Fugo Queen might be here tomorrow. So I'm super excited to come home from school and check the post box. Yeah, Solenopsis Fugo. I always say it wrong. Everyone, Fuga, Fugax, whatever. Really cool, really great species. And super exciting to come home and check the post box, I bet. I've got a few deliveries on their way at the moment. I am checking my phone all the time, and it's like no updates coming through, nothing. I'm just kind of watching it. Like it's on a massive cargo ship. It's like, that's miles away still, and I'm just waiting for Russia to sink it. It'll be just my luck, wouldn't it? I always say, right, I'm Irish, so I've got loads of luck, but it ain't good luck. I've got all the bad luck that all the other Irish didn't get. So if Russia was going to sink any cargo ship, it would be the one with my deliveries on it. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Should we have another duck race? I feel like we need another duck race. Those beetles, I think I've got a few more than normal in there at the minute. I need to sort of thin them out. And I don't cull them, my God. I just pluck them out and put them into the beetle enclosure. Simple as that. I don't want to harm them. But there is quite a few of them in there at the moment, I think. See, Ant Warrior, I was thinking a quiz, but I've done a quiz over the last few days, right? And it's really annoying. I've got 2 other games that I've prepared, but they won't work on the system that I'm using at the moment. So I need to transfer it into a different file, and then I can transfer it into a different file, and then I can, what's the word? I can change it into a doodad, and then it will work. So next week we'll have lots more games and stuff. I am really sorry for that because I do try and make a game for every show, but it just wasn't happening tonight. And it is 11 o'clock already, to be fair. So who have we got? We got Builder Duck. He's probably knackered from a long day at work. We've got Dr. Duck. He's even more than that. Well, Surgeon Duck. Surgeon Ducks have it pretty hard. Have you ever seen surgery, like behind the scenes surgery? Not something I would advise if you're going in the next day. You got Plain Duck in number 3, Viking Duck number 4, Plain Duck number 5, and Space Adventure Duck number 6. So we've got Stacy in number 3, Ant Warrior in number 4, Sarah. I've got the sort of little. Thank you for joining, Sarah. It's been a pleasure as always. So without further ado, if you want to grab a number, they're still available. Here we go. Viking Duck well ahead at the start there, but it's closely followed by number 5, part of the Plain Duck group. Mark has just taken number 5. Good on you, Mark. You got Builder Duck and Surgeon Duck coming up on the outside. Number 3 holding back. Number 3 could be, preserving all that energy, about to go for a mad burst of speed. Apart from number 3, they're all almost in a line. Number 4 just holding it by the beak. Number 6, Astronaut Explorer Duck has just taken the lead. Number 3 is pushing up in the middle, taking second place and into first, pushing number 6 back in the second. Now, they're all in a line now. It's gotten so close. Number 1's just about edging ahead, but I don't think his lead's going to last for long. Now, he's just starting to fall back now. Here we go. Last 30 seconds. This is where it all counts. Viking Duck's just made a sacrifice for extra speed. Builder Duck's smoothing down the ripples as he goes. I don't know. Here we go. Last bit. Who do we think is going to win? I reckon it's going to be number 3. No, I'm well off. Number 1. Well done, number 1. Builder Duck, even after a hard day at work, Builder Duck came home, smashed out a race. Awesome. Now, I am going to say these ants have been absolutely insane. Like, the amount of ants that have come out today to eat have just been absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, Ant Warrior, I know. I wasn't expecting number 1 to have taken that either. But you never know with a race like that. It's as random as rolling a dice, believe it or not. Possibly even more random, because there's actually law of probability of rolling dice, isn't there? I can't remember what it is, but I'm sure there was probabilities. Oh dear. I think I've just about lost the plot, haven't I? But right, I'm going to call it a night. Thank you all for watching. Yeah, Stacey, they have been crazy tonight. I don't know what it is in particular, because I haven't reduced their food at all, have I? Feed them every Wednesday and Sunday. I just don't know. Oh well. Maybe they're growing again. In fact, it won't surprise me, because I am catching the odd 1 or 2 coming out of the tank at the minute, so they might be looking for a new place to build a satellite nest. I'm going to have to do a massive cutback and possibly install some more wood sections so that they find a new area to build on. But yeah, absolutely brilliant to have you on, Ant Warrior. Thank you very much. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you to my Patreon supporters, Katrina, Jason and Kevin. Thank you to Answer Us for supporting the live streams. And thank you all, my amazing community, for joining in another chat show and being absolutely awesome as you all are. I'm going to go. If you need me, you know where I am. I'll be there probably until about 1 a.m. tonight, maybe 2, depending on how things go. And as always for me, Oh, before I go, thank you very much, Stacey. I love having you all here at the streams. I actually really enjoy doing these live streams as well. Really, really enjoy doing them for you. So it's amazing to have you all here, making it worth it. But yeah, as always from me, I'll see you again soon, Ant fans. Thank you very much.